There's a combination of things here, you see. Well, there is like control over poaching and then also expanding tiger habitat, creating forest corridors. You see, like before, it used to be patches of forests or national parks or wildlife reserves. But now they have created corridors in between, which means tigers can travel now. Just yesterday, I was reading another piece where they found that some tigers were traveling for thousands of kilometers, thousands, because of those corridors. So that's one thing, and then also reducing human wildlife conflict, and then uplifting communities. Say, for example, helping them with their livelihood, or also compensating them if there is some kind of loss. So there's a combination of things that have happened here, and that's why they're seeing all these results.
You talk about kind of human wildlife conflicts here, and I do want to expand on that because when you think about some states, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttarakhand, Karnataka, these are spaces where tigers share space with people at high densities, and that comes with immense challenges, physically speaking, as well.
Yes, I mean, what we are talking about today, this report is quite positive in that, we're talking about how this coexistence of humans and tigers have been possible and all that. But, even in these areas, for instance, in the past, there have been some really, really concerning reports. For example, Maharashtra, in one particular district, saw almost one human casualty almost every week in 2022.
It's incredible.
That is
Just
huge.
3 years ago.
Yes, Chandrapur district in Maharashtra, another neighboring district, one person almost every 2 weeks. Mostly tigers, not all the tigers, but human wildlife conflict, but mostly tigers. But again, these areas are comparatively prosperous, so to
Yes.
say. And that's what they've found. This report has found that when places are a bit prosperous, then the chances of coexistence goes up. Whereas if there are poor areas, for example, states like Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand or even Northeast India, for instance, where they have this history of bushmeat consumption and also poaching, and poverty, for example. We still have the situation where there is demand for tiger products, bones, hide, everything, somewhere else. For example, countries like China or Vietnam, Southeast Asia. So these places do feed into that market.
Really interesting. But like you said, we're focusing on the positives, and this has been a positive outcome. What are the wider lessons for conservation here? Because I'm sure other countries, communities will be looking at this thinking, how can we achieve that?
When I look at the report, then they're talking about two things here. So you have to avoid intensive urbanization, and then also poverty at the same time. And so it's about striking that balance. So the term that they're using is, adopting an inclusive and sustainable rural prosperity. See, that's very tricky. So you have to keep that place rural, but that doesn't mean that, people are not allowed to be prosperous. So that has to be rural prosperity, inclusive and sustainable. That's a massive challenge, that in that comes in, for example, safari tourism. The benefits of tourism, if it percolates to local community, then some of these places have shown that it is possible, it is doable. There are some other countries in the world that have shown, Thailand, for example, but then it's not easy. It's not easy. But the thing is, again, people ask, okay, tigers, why so many tigers, or why are we so focused on tigers? Then ecologists, what they explain is, and I think it is plausible now in this age of biodiversity crisis, what they say is, when we're talking about conserving, protecting tigers, we're not just protecting tigers, we are protecting the whole ecosystem. You see, because we need the forests. So when you are protecting one tiger, you are protecting actually a bigger area of forest, which actually, provides with so many natural services and also in the fight of climate change.
I learnt so much from that conversation. Thank you. That was Naveen Singh Khadga, our global environment correspondent.